But we were doing a lot of winking and hooing and hollering about Simmons possibly reclassifying. We came out with a video this past weekend about it. People have been talking about it. The noise has been just growing about it. I know you can only say so much, Connor, and obviously everyone has their thoughts and opinion, but I want to get your thoughts on him possibly reclassifying. And then I want to get your thoughts on, hey, do you think it's a good idea? Because a lot of people commented on our video about him reclassifying, and it was pretty 50-50. Some love it. Some were like, no way, I don't like it at all. And I don't think anybody's wrong. I don't think we know enough. We haven't seen something like this happen before, so nobody knows how to take it. In my video, I prefaced, we're used to seeing somebody step back a year and allow themselves to grow and get stronger and faster, and allows them to adjust to a different style. There's a whole book it's called Outliers, and it talks about when people are born. And if you go look at people in the NHL, NBA, NFL, they're all born around the same time, because how they go through and how they draft and how you get put into a sport, how your age is you can be sometimes considered a man amongst boys because you were born a little bit later, right? So you're 13 playing with 12 and 11-year-olds because of the way your birthday fell. So you're bigger than everybody else. You're stronger, faster, etc., because you got a few more months of development. May not seem like much, but over time that starts to add up. So guys hold themselves back to get into that category. This is a completely different animal. He's trying to jump ahead. So there's a lot of question marks here, but I want to get your thoughts on all that, Connor.
Yeah, so like you said, kind of uncharted territory as far as someone reclassifying, and not necessarily just reclassifying, but reclassifying to the extent that it's being speculated for Austin Simmons. So Kamar Wilcoxon is somebody that graduated a year early, got onto campus. But in the football perspective, it doesn't happen often. There's very, very few and far between that guys reclassify up a year. Austin Simmons is talking about jumping 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when Dave kind of spoke about this, the 5.3 GPA, he graduated his high school. He finished his high school courses when he was a freshman in high school. So logistically, it's 100% possible that he reclassifies as long as his transcripts are in order, which he was homeschooled for quite a long time, which is why he was playing football at Pahokee and baseball at another school in Miami. He's now transferred to, I think it's Moorhaven School, to play his football for the last time on Friday. Maybe he plays another year and reclassifies. Who knows really what's going to happen? There is no set in stone of what is going to happen with Austin Simmons. There's a lot of smoke out there. I do kind of like to say where there's smoke, there's fire. So that's one of those things that if there's this much smoke out there, there has to be some merit to it. But Simmons is one of those kids that he's 17 years old right now. So it's not like you're bringing in, if he's reclassifying 2 classes, it's not like you're bringing in a 15, 16-year-old to come on campus and compete with 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds. He's 17 years old already. He's going to be 18 not too far in the future, I think. He's around the same age as DJ Lagway. So him reclassifying from a physical perspective, not a huge outlier or not a huge detriment to him because he's not that young. From a development perspective, I think it's great for him. He's got the opportunity to come in, and he's not going to be pressured to start right away. Billy Napier is perfectly happy with Graham Mertz being there. He thinks he can win with Graham Mertz in his system. Simmons can come in, sit behind Graham Mertz, develop, and then him and DJ Lagway fight it out in spring next year.
It's a good problem to have.
Mean, from a perspective of, is it good for Austin Simmons? I think it's great if he decides to do it because he can get in early, develop his knowledge of the game. He's a coach's son, and I hate all those cliches. Coach's son, first in, last out, gym rat, sneaky athletic, all that crap. But he really is. He's a coach's kid. He's got a 5.3 GPA. So,
first in, last out, gym rat.
So he's a smart kid. You see the processing when you watch his film. So as far as the mental side of the game, I'm not really worried about him picking that up. And if he's as talented as we really think he is, and if he's as smart as his GPA suggests, if he does reclassify, what's to say he doesn't see the field in week 6, week 7, if things aren't going well with Graham Mertz? I think if he gets on campus,
if Simmons comes in,
he's very quickly one of the most talented players
really
in that
about losing Lagway. Thoughts, guys?
Sorry, I gotta get rid of that.
No, you're good. I see a super chat question about Simmons and
Yeah,
Lagway.
you can read it. Go ahead.
What is it? If Simmons
It says
comes and sways
yeah.
Lagway away from the Gators, he'd start year one because we need a QB. This really worries me about losing Lagway. So that is actually a common misconception. If Simmons does indeed reclassify, Lagway's not going anywhere. DJ is
Right.
not afraid of competition. DJ was actually recruiting Austin Simmons while they were on campus together. When Jeremiah Smith was on campus, I think it was early April. Just before Austin Simmons committed, DJ was recruiting him to come to Florida. He loves competition. They're both. I got the chance to speak to Austin the night before he committed. When he told me, "Hey man, I'm going to be a Gator," he was super excited about competing with DJ Lagway. So both guys are not scared of one another. They welcome the competition and they think it's going to make them better.
I think we're all afraid of stacking players now because of the transfer portal. But Bama has shown that you can have quarterback after quarterback after quarterback and it be successful. That their last four have been successful and they've all played behind one another. Bryce Young being the exception because he had 2 seasons. But you had Jalen Hurts, Tua, and Mac Jones. They're all in the same room together, all 3 of them. And now look, all 3 of them. They're all thriving in the NFL. Look at Georgia. They can't stop getting quarterbacks into the room. It's just one after another. So you can have it. I think again we're a little gun shy, which we should be, right? We're a little nervous about how this is being handled. But if these guys come in and they're as good as they're as advertised and they're able to make each other better, and one is 2023 and one's 2024. Austin Simmons plays for 2 years. DJ gets a year, maybe 2, and they both go and be successful in the NFL. That's what they both want, anyways. So, and they both grew each other, right? What if one leaves and goes somewhere else and maybe falls on his face because he's not in a better program? There's a lot of things that can happen when you leave. I think, again, with the new portal stuff happening, it does cause a little bit of concern. But I love that you kind of just shut that up really quickly. No, it's not a problem at all because he understands like this is part of the game. It doesn't start with me, i.e. being DJ, and it doesn't end with me. Like this has to continue to keep growing and getting better and better. So
And you got to look at it too. Like DJ Lagway is not going to go out of his way to recruit all these guys if he's just going to leave if Austin Simmons reclassifies. And you got to think too. Also, if Jaden Rashada had came into the class, he would have been competing with him anyway. So it doesn't even really matter. So now you just replace him with Austin Simmons, and then now you got a good quarterback competition going into 2024, 2025.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, DJ actually committed about 10 days before Rashada signed to Florida. I think it was like December 7th or something like that. So he and Jaden Rashada was committed. So he was not scared to come into a quarterback room that had Jaden Rashada in it for this class. And this is all a moot point if Austin Simmons doesn't reclassify. So I mean, we can sit here and talk to her blue in the face.
You know, so we do right here.
We can sit here and talk to her blue in the face about, oh man, I hope this doesn't affect DJ Lagway's commitment to the University of Florida. Well, until Austin Simmons is enrolled at the University of Florida, this is all a moot point.
And at the same time, like DJ Lagway, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Go ahead.
Hey, but look, that's why I love bringing Clarke on the show. Such a breath of fresh air, man. Always just kind of giving your thoughts and perspective. Because obviously, you know, the 3 of us, Steve and Dave, we're always talking. And sometimes you can kind of get a little close-minded. Your opinions all start going another way. So it's great bringing you in here and getting your thoughts. I know the chat loves it. So I really appreciate it. I think it's a great point. Something you mentioned, too, I got a lot of flack for it because in my video, I said he was 15. Most sophomores are 15, 16 years old. My little brother, class of 2026, he's 15. So I was just going off of just basic math. And everyone's like, no, he's 17. I was like, okay, well, then back to my point I said earlier, that book about Outlier was he's one of those occasions where he's a man amongst boys. So he's ahead of his current class in a sense, right? Like you were saying, not just mentally, but physically, he probably was born at a time where he's ahead of everybody in his current class. So he's not as far back as the graduation year is saying that it is what you were referring to as well too.
Time my heart was about to drop
and something funny too is we see people jump education wise, right? Like him being able to go to college already. That is an extreme norm because we were talking about this isn't very normal, but jumping education is extremely normal, especially nowadays. I feel like everybody's doing it. Most seniors in high school are already in college by the time they're senior year of high school. I was still a freshman my senior year, but as you were, go ahead.
Oh, and the last point I'll bring up, because I know we got to move on, but like Austin Simmons, he's been very vocal about like getting his PhD, getting ahead of his classes, and I think I heard he's already got like 15 college credit hours. If I'm not mistaken, Connor, you may know, I don't know,
I
but I've
don't know the
heard that.
exact number, but 15 might be selling him short, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, and like if you gotta like if you just follow the trends, I mean, it's trending that he's possibly going to reclassify. We don't know that, but it's trending that way. He
So
could not, he could stay, and if you can lock him in, then you can go after somebody else in the 2025 class. You're not having to worry about recruiting him; he's already locked in. So now you can
yeah,
go after another guy.
and I think the thing that people have really read into in this situation is Billy Napier's comments. He said, "Hey, we're going to add another quarterback to this room."
Yep.
He didn't say and people have asked him, "Hey, Billy, are you guys going to go for another transfer quarterback?" We're going to add another quarterback to this room, not another transfer quarterback.
Basically, we're not going to the portal. So
he's not specifying, "Hey, we're going to go to the portal to find another guy." But he did say we're going to add another quarterback to this room before fall camp starts. And a lot of people are reading into that. Well, it has to be Austin Simmons then. I mean, Billy has proven you can take him at his word. So it's one of those things where you have to you have to just take him at his word, and he's gonna take another quarterback.